Hi, everybody. So, sincere apologies. I am figuring this out for the first time, so I hope you are able to join me. Great, thanks. Hi, Shilpa. Can you hear me? Great, thank you. Good evening, Shilpa. We'll wait for a couple of more minutes. I kind of struggled to figure out how to do this. So I took a little while. I had to change the links. Okay, so let's see. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes to have some more people join us. I have just updated this everywhere else. Great. So today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic. I saw some very interesting responses to the poll that I had done, and I am very excited to discuss about that. Citizen, I guess that is Sony. Is that right? Yes. Hi, Basil. Thanks for joining, and sorry for the confusion. Again, YouTube is very tricky. YouTube Live is very tricky, so I'm trying this for the first time, but it is pretty convenient if we get the hang of it. Um, Great. So I'll just wait for one more minute. We are at 5:04. I'll wait for just one more minute, and then we'll begin the discussion. So I was talking about, I actually did some polls, some very simple polls on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I also sent some messages to my friends and my colleagues asking some simple questions. So I'm here to share about what I discovered, what I figured out. Um, yeah, thanks, Basil. We should have some tricks up our sleeves. So yeah, so the initial video, what happened was I was trying to test it like I do the Zoom one, and it didn't have an option to pause and go back. So I had to delete it because it was obviously not the one video that I wanted to share. So yeah, great. So yeah, this is about some polls that I had done, and I found the results very interesting. I'm going to talk about the links between how I invest my time, where I invest my time, about the links between that and my expectations from people that are related to personally, professionally, in any stream of life, and how that impacts my own emotional well-being. So that's the real link that I'm going to talk about. I discovered that very recently while I was doing this poll, and I did this little study in my own head, and I found something very interesting. So that's what I'm here to share with you all today. So great. I asked a question to almost all of you as well. And at least the people that are there right now on this live, all of you responded with the answer saying, yes, we do expect something in return when we are investing our time and our energy and some effort in any relationship. So the answer is yes. Interestingly, many people also said no. So that was very interesting to me. But I kind of spent some time with few people and I probed a little more. I asked a little more questions, and they did come to saying, yes, that they do expect. Now, this is very important for us to remember. Many of us feel consciously we think that no, we don't expect anything in any relationship whatsoever, right? And when I say to myself that no, I'm not expecting anything in a relationship, it actually becomes a big problem for me, because then there's a conflict between my mind and my own self or my actions. There's a conflict because my mind says that no, 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 I don't expect anything. And subconsciously, I still do expect something or the other. And that leads to a conflict between myself and my mind. Now, why is it important to, okay, Shilpa says her opinion is also 50-50. Yeah, so we'll explore this, Shilpa. Thank you. So why I say that we all expect, okay? Let's think about it. Many of us, actually many of you who I reached out to said, for example, a mother doesn't expect anything from the child. Now, remember, when I say expectation, I am not saying that expectation in terms of what will you get in return. I'm not talking about the greed associated to any of that. I'm not talking about any material gain. I'm not talking about any, any benefit that you will gain out of it. So there are underlying benefits that you do gain out of it. For example, a mother and a child relationship. This is something that is brought very often to my notice. So when a mother is, let's say, feeding a child, the expectation may be at least that they eat it, they don't spill it. Let's say the mother is teaching something to a child. Then the least expectation that you will have is that the child will at least listen or apply it, or at least benefit from those learnings today, tomorrow, anytime in future. So those are some very small expectations that a mother may still have. The mother may not expect anything in return for herself, but will expect something for the child itself. Sometimes when you are just investing some time with your children, you're playing with your children, you at least expect that they'll smile. If they don't smile, you're like, okay, what did I do wrong? So there was some expectation that was not met, because of which you tend to question yourself, right? Because of which you tend to go back and say that, am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong? So at the end of the day, expectation is not about what you gain. Expectation is what you naturally get. Sometimes you get what you want, and sometimes you get what you didn't even expect or didn't even think about. Okay, it's like, to me, I think it's law of nature. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So whether you expect something in return or not, something is already happening. Okay, every action that you are doing, everything that you're saying, everything has some reaction from other people. Okay, whoever those relationships may be, whoever in that relationship may be with you. So it is very essential for us to remember that we do expect. Sometimes our expectation may be that, okay, this person at least accepts, I'm loving this person so much, let this person at least accept my love. That's all I need. I don't need anything else from this person. Sometimes people may feel, okay, I am giving so much, at least this person should pay it forward. You don't give anything to me, but pay it forward. Be nice to somebody else. Sometimes I may expect, or sometimes your expectations may be in the not expect. So when you're doing something for somebody, you at least don't expect them to be disrespectful. You don't expect them to be mean to you, or you don't expect them to be ignoring you. So there is some underlying expectation always and always. Okay. So are we all in agreement that expectations are always there in every single relationship? Type a yes if you agree with me. Okay, I'm waiting. Shilpa, Sony, Daisel. Yes, of course. Thank you, Daisel. It's always, always there. We're going to talk about why are these, why knowing and accepting that I have an expectation so important. So Shilpa, elaborate that. Today's time will be changed, I guess. Yes, but what? Okay, let's explore this. We will discuss more about it. So the reason I say that if I do not accept that I am expecting something in return, whatever I'm investing in, then one, my investment is not going to be very conscious. I'm not going to be very conscious about where I'm investing, how much I'm investing, and what I'm going to get in return. Two, if I don't accept that I'm expecting, this may lead to that subconscious need which is unfulfilled because I'm not being vocal about it. I'm not speaking about it, right? So this will lead to unfulfilled needs in a relationship. It may also lead to one-way submission where only one person is always giving, and then you feel that, okay, I'm being taken for granted. Why is this person not returning back? So you may feel that. So that feeling may come in. It may also lead to some pent-up emotions. Now, because you're not speaking about your expectations, sometimes you're not speaking because you don't even think that you have any expectation. So sometimes that happens. And when that happens, you are having pent-up emotions. It's kind of getting bottled up. And when this bottled up happens, obviously there are outbursts also. And sometimes this can also lead to self-pity and seclusion, because I am in my mind, I'm thinking that, oh, I don't expect anything from anybody in return. I'm only a very giving person. I don't need anything. I am, that bechari, like we call in Hindi, I'm the bechari, and I don't want anything from anybody. I don't get anything in return. I do so much. So overall, your expectations somewhere will also keep getting bottled up. And that's when relationships kind of get bitter. And that's why I think it's extremely essential for us to accept that we do expect. So that's the first step, which is self-awareness, right? Where I accept that I am expecting something in return and being aware of what am I expecting from which person in which relationship. So sometimes you may just expect. Great, thanks, Hazel. Nature also has expectations from us. So it's nature, actually. Very well said. Only giving won't work out if we didn't get in return for a long time. Absolutely. And it's when two people connect, you're always giving and taking. We are not trying to get calculative here, but you're always naturally giving and taking. That's how relationships work. Any relationship for that matter. Like the saying goes, nothing comes for free. Nothing at all is for free. You have to pay something in return for it, right? So awareness of what you expect, acceptance of that you expect, and awareness of what you expect from whom is going to help you communicate better. And communicate especially to those relationships that matter a lot to you. Now, when you communicate that, hey, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, this is what I expect from you, this is what I don't expect from you, then misunderstandings reduce as well. So you will have lesser misunderstanding because there are lesser assumptions now. The person doesn't have to always keep thinking that is this person expecting something or not expecting something. There are so many husband-wife jokes which actually bring out this learning. Where someone says that, okay, my wife says, I ask my wife, do you want something for your birthday? And the wife says, no, I don't want anything. I want only your company. I don't want anything, right? And then when the birthday happens, the person comes and says that here I am. So let's celebrate your birthday with company. Didn't bring any, flowers, didn't bring any gifts, nothing at all. And that may actually be the case as well. Some people may actually just expect company. But then the person comes to celebrate the birthday, and then the woman is upset. Why is she upset? Because he didn't get any gift. How is he supposed to know that you wanted a gift? Because he's supposed to assume. He's supposed to know everything, right? The same may happen vice versa as well. A woman may be expected to understand what a man is thinking or what a man needs when a man needs space. So communication is the key. It's very essential. So set expectations. But you will not be able to set expectations if you are not being vocal about it. And you will not be able to be vocal if you don't think in your mind that you have some expectation. So don't keep negating it, that no, I don't expect, no, I don't expect. Don't keep negating it. Each of us expects something. It's natural process. Expectations do not make us selfish. That's a very, very different phenomena altogether. It is not about being selfish. It's about being human. Expectation is being human, okay? So when I am vocal about it, when I set expectations well, and when I accept it, there is no feeling of pity. I'm not pitying on myself because I knew that I'm expecting this, or I told them that I'm expecting this. Now, when you don't get what you expect, then you can communicate it back, okay? You will not get into a victim mentality. So the self-pity mode, oh my God, I'm always giving, I don't get anything in return, that is not going to happen. Pent-up emotions will not happen, and outbreaks will also not happen. Those outbursts of emotion, bouts of emotion, that will also not happen. So it will reduce a lot when you set expectations clearly And that is only possible if you accept that you have expectations. Okay, so I'm going to pause a little bit here. We spoke about expectations. We will now move on to the ROI section. So before I move on to the ROI, which is return on investment of your time, and then we will go to the emotional well-being linkage, I'll ask you if you have any questions for me around this. Okay, any questions? Anybody? I have around 6 people watching on YouTube right now. So thank you for being here, and thank you for managing with the change in the link as well. Any questions? Okay, no questions, and let's move on to the ROI. Now, this is where I want to share the poll results with you. So what happened? Now, first of all, for the expectation bit also, out of all the different polls that I ran on Facebook, LinkedIn, I did it on my WhatsApp as well. Almost, I think an estimated 85% people accepted that yes, they expect something or the other. Someone brought in very beautifully, they said subconsciously I may accept, I may be expecting, but I may never want to accept it. Why? Because again, my thought process says that expecting something in return in a relationship is calculative in a relationship, right? So we need to get rid of that mindset. We need to change that mindset and understand that expectation does not make you selfish. Expectation only makes you human. So learn to be more human. Don't try to become a machine. Great. Thank you. Thanks, Daisy. Okay. So now let's move on to the ROI section. Okay. Now, what is the definition of ROI? What is ROI really? Return on investment. So I am not very great with mathematics, but I did a little reading on the net, and here is what I found. Now, return on investment is really efficiency of an investment. So you've invested something, what is its efficiency? And evaluating the return or the value that you get back after you have made an investment. Okay, so that's what ROI is. Today, we are not going to talk about ROIs of money. Today, we're going to talk about ROIs of time. I personally feel that time is actually the most precious asset that you have, because that never comes back. It's like the flowing river. You will never touch the same water ever again. The time that's gone is not going to come back. And so it is so much essential for us that we invest our time very cautiously, and we are very, very selective of when, where, and how much, and to whom are we investing this time. So we're going to talk about ROI. Now, the poll results, interestingly, both in LinkedIn and on Facebook. So the poll really had a simple question. It said, where are you investing the maximum of your time? You know, is it with children and spouse? Is it with friends or colleagues? Is it with parents and siblings? Or is it with yourself? Where are you investing the maximum of your time? Interesting, and I'm not too surprised. I expected this one. More than 50% people said that they invest the maximum time with children and spouse. Okay, they invest their maximum time there. Maximum people said that. For more than 50% said that. And unfortunately, only 20%, or like actually 17%, said that they spend more time on their self. So you can imagine the gap that we really have. Very, very, very few of us actually invest more time on ourselves. We invest probably the least time on ourselves. That's including me. Okay. So now what happens? Why is it so important to understand this, and how is it linked? So question for you guys. If I keep ignoring myself and I keep providing for the others, I always keep ignoring myself. I keep myself at the end, and I always keep providing for others. Okay, I don't invest time in me at all. What can happen? So I'll wait for your answers. What will happen? Okay, I'm waiting for your answers there. What will happen if I keep investing in others and I keep ignoring myself? I'm not taking anything. I'm only providing. What will happen? beautiful, Diesel. They have become a part of you. So when you spend time for them, you are actually spending time for you. Very good. That's very well said as well. And that is how you have set expectation for yourself, that this is my me time. My me time means with my family. Excellent. That's a beautiful perspective to have. Okay. Questions? Answer to my question now. So what will happen if I keep ignoring myself and I keep providing? Yeah, so it's actually mutual, right? So you're giving and taking. So it's completely about how you look at it. Very well said, Daisy. So let me tell you now, let me answer the question then. So what happens if I keep ignoring myself and I keep providing all the time? There will be fatigue that will happen. There will be emptiness that will happen. You will get tired of giving. You will get tired and you will get empty. I end up having a void if I don't spend time for me. Very well said, right? Now, simple example. Let's take simple example. Now, donation is obviously a very good idea, right? It's a very good idea. We should all donate. But imagine I am donating food, okay, to the needy. But I'm standing multiple hours in the sun and I am donating food, but I'm not eating anything myself. What will happen to me? What will happen to me? Fatigue will set in. And over a period of time, after some hours, I will not have energy anymore to even provide food. Correct? I'll have sunburns, right? Yeah, but I'll also feel hungry, but I'm not eating. I am only providing, I'm only serving. And if I don't take care of myself, what will happen? I will always obviously get fatigued and I will not be able to take care of myself and continue doing that for a longer period of time. Great jokes there, Daisel. I'll get tans. Thank you. Okay. Now, similarly, let's say you're serving something from a cup. Okay. But you're not refilling that cup. What will happen to the cup? It'll obviously get empty very soon. Yeah. So taking care of yourself is like that. I'm sure you've heard of this, that charity begins at home. The home here means you. That's the home that you need to take care of. That's the home you're going to live in. This is the person that's going to be with you all your life. And if you don't enjoy this company, then something is wrong there. You need to do something to change, that feeling. So you should not always yearn for someone's company. You should feel good about your own company. Being alone should be a happy feeling for you, right? So it's very important. That is why to ensure that you are filling into that cup again and again. And that you'll be able to do only by investing some time in you. Now, how you invest that time in yourself will vary. Like Basil said, some people may like to invest that time in themselves by investing time with friends or by investing time with your family itself. That's your me time. That's where you draw your energy from. That's where you draw your purpose in life from. That's where you draw happiness from. So you're gaining something out of it. You're filling your cup again, right? Some people may draw that energy from within. So those are some people who would like to be by themselves. They don't want to be, continuously have someone around. They need that space. They need that time alone. They need that time alone because they are going to draw that energy from themselves. Okay. So all types of people exist and all types of people are right. Nobody's wrong here. Right and wrong is anyway subjective. So that is why find your own way of investing time in yourself, but do that for sure. Daisy says depression is a clear symptom of people not investing time for themselves. Absolutely, that's where we are coming to. And that is why depression, low self-esteem, victim mentality, inferiority complex, all of these are coming from you not investing enough time in your own self. So it's extremely essential to invest more time in yourself. Now, remember that golden egg laying hen story? So there's this hen that lays golden eggs, and the farmer who had the hen got really greedy, thought the hen may have a lot of golden eggs in the stomach, and so I'll cut the hen and I'll get all the golden eggs all at once. So that greed led to the hen dying. And that's exactly what we are doing to our own self on a regular basis. The golden egg is what you're providing to people around you, to your relationships, to your spouses, to your children, to your friends, to your family, to your colleagues, to your work, to your social commitments. Those are the golden eggs that you're giving. But if this hen is not fed properly with love, compassion, time, energy, space, whatever brings that energy back to you, whatever fills you in back, whatever that may be. If this hen is not given that back, this hen will die, and this hen will stop laying those golden eggs down the line. They will not be available anymore to anybody at all, right? So if you want to ensure that you are able to give consistently, then you need to keep investing in yourself as well. That's extremely, extremely critical. It actually only always begins with you, right? Now, what is important here is to not become imbalanced, right? So we're not saying that do more for you and less for others. I'm saying two things. One, I'm saying strike a balance. And two, I'm saying start with yourself. Don't start with others, start with yourself. And remember, being self-care is not being selfish. Investing time in yourself is not being selfish. Many people think that that's being selfish. It's not being selfish. Selfishness, rather, I'll ask you, what do you say? What is selfishness? What do you mean by being selfish? Okay, what do you mean by being selfish? Anybody there? Okay, so selfishness is when you are doing something for yourself. Yes, an attitude of perceiving people inferior to you, or where you keep your gains ahead of someone else's gain, even at the cost of their misery or even at the cost of their pain. That is selfishness. When a selfish deed will always cause some level of harm to somebody else. Now, what we are talking about is gain, only gain. Here gain, there gain, everywhere only gain, right? It is also called a win-win mentality or a win-win attitude, where I am winning, you are also winning. We all can win. That's what we are talking about here. Okay, so it's essential to strike that balance. Now, if this balance is not taken care of, if you don't strike that balance, then sometimes it actually creates higher expectations. Why? Because now imagine I'm in that bubble. I think that I am, some person who's only giving, and I don't expect anything in return. So I will not even take out time for myself. I'll only keep serving. Slowly I'll become empty inside. Slowly I will start feeling very lack of inclusivity is also selfishness. Thank you, Daisy. Slowly, I will start feeling very low about myself. I will feel that I don't deserve anything. Actually, I'm here to only give people. And this may slowly make me feel, now the emptiness is so much, it has come down the level, my repository has come so much, it has come so low that suddenly my expectations will increase because there's so much of void to fill now. You know what I mean? There's so much of void to fill, and so my expectations will all of a sudden increase. Now, I'm sure you've heard of these terms, and you'll find usually it's within your homes, right? Where someone says, I have spent 16 years of my life doing this for you, and this is what I get in return. Now, this is a statement of a person who has given, brought their repository of self-care, self-love, time, attention, compassion for themselves to a very, very bare minimum. And now the outburst is happening because the void has become so big, right? So this is a statement from someone like that. Now, if you don't want to get there, that is why you should be obviously always investing in yourself. Now, if you do not do that again, it can also lead to bitterness in relationships, and it can also lead to a feeling of being taken for granted. How many of you relate to this feeling of taken for granted? And I'll share my personal story with you here. Being taken for granted. Heard of this? Sure. Hi, Sony. You have heard about being taken for granted. Okay. And why does that feeling come? Being taken for granted is a feeling that comes from a void. It comes from a void of not receiving anything in return. It comes from a void of not setting expectations well. It's happened. I voted for a purpose, and the people I voted for took my vote for granted. See, that is being taken for granted as well, right? And when do I feel taken for granted? Because I have not communicated my expectations enough, or I have not invested enough time in my own self, right? Some of these, so for example, your case, your example that you shared, Basil, there is little that we can do about that. We can only think about it for the next time. Will I vote again for these people or not? Yes, Sony. So yes, always taking care of others without self-care. So that also leads to this feeling of void, this feeling of bitterness in relationships. Now, why does bitterness happen in relationship because of this? Now imagine all these years, 15, 16 years, you have been doing the same thing, giving, 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 not expecting, never telling that you need anything in return. Nahi, nahi, mujhe kuch nahi chahiye. I am good. I don't need this. I don't need that. Inside you need it. But you're saying, I don't need it. I don't need anything from you, right? All the time, all the time, all the time. In your mind, the expectation is that someone will understand you without you actually speaking it. Someone will relate to what you're saying. Someone will read your silence, and they will do for you exactly what you want done, right? They will give you what you expect from them without you asking for it. That may happen in some relationships. It will not happen in every relationship. And that's why it's important to speak about it. So what happens? Bitterness. Why does bitterness happen? You have been in a relationship, let's say for like 15, 16 years. You have never ever spoken about you expecting something in return. You've always projected yourself to be that person who's comfortable and willingly giving and does not need anything in return, right? And suddenly you get this realization now, because the void is here, the void is bigger and your repository is here. Suddenly you get this realization, oops, I am empty. Now I need something in return. Now I need to fill this. I cannot go on like this for very long. And then when you begin speaking about it, one, people around you are not used to that you. That's a new version of you, and they don't like it, right? They are now being trained to treat you by only taking from you, and you have trained them to do that. So now they have been conditioned over a period of time to only take from you and not give you, and it's not their fault, because you did not set those expectations up front, because you did not teach them how you like being treated. And that is why they have taken that for granted. You say they have taken that for granted, but they've actually learned it. They've been conditioned over a period of time that it's okay to treat this person in this manner, right? And always remember, it's you who have taught them that, okay? So here's my story. So when I got married into this South Indian family, it was a love marriage. It happened in 1997, and I married a South Indian guy. And I really, really loved that man so much. I was in a different world altogether at that time, where due to some reasons and from my childhood, I always felt that I did not deserve happiness. And so any form of happiness that came to me, it seemed like too overwhelming. It felt as if, oh my God, are you crazy? Sure, this is for me. That's the reaction that I had. And so in that mindset, because I was conditioned like that, in that mindset, I ended up not loving this person, but actually worshiping this person. Now, my behaviors designed his behaviors, okay? I would not let him pick up even a glass of water. I would, I would listen to everything that he would say. I would sit on the floor if he's sitting on the sofa. So my intention was only to give, make him feel really nice, make him feel really worshipped, whether it is him or whether it is parents and everybody, right? Be it from money, be it from energy, be it from time, be it from anything. My only intention was to give and love. Now, what is happening inside my head somewhere is that I am expecting something in return. I expect at least to be respected. I at least expect love in return, or I at least expect people to listen to me. I at least expected someone to be by my side, to at least sit next to me and hold my hand and, tell the world that I'm proud of having this woman with me. But none of that happened. And I didn't want to communicate it because in my mind I'm saying that no, if I do that, I'll be selfish. And I am into a selfless love. I love him selflessly, unconditional love. So I'm not going to tell any expectations at all that I may ever have from him. Now, what this created was a complete bitterness in our relationship. Slowly we became apart. And I think it was 7 years after my marriage when I actually spoke up and I told him, I said, don't you think there's something wrong that is happening between us? Don't you think that, the relationship is not going in the right direction? Maybe we need to speak about it. Maybe we need to, rekindle it. We need to do something. Have you observed that I have stopped asking you anything? Have you observed if stopped talking enough? And his response to me was very interesting. He said, well, that's how it has always been. So what's changed? You've never asked for anything. What has changed now? Okay. And I have never blamed him for that then. It still took me 2 long years after that discussion to take a stance and get out of that marriage because I could not have changed what I had done in 7, 8 years. And I could not have continued in the same manner, right? So I could not have trained him again to love me back because there was not enough willingness from that side. And at the same time, I didn't want to continue like that. I didn't want to be so void and so empty. I went into depression. I went to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist did not even accept my application and said that if you're coming alone every time, I cannot keep giving you these medications. So from there is when I realized that no, I should not be doing this always. And the only thing that worked in my other relationships is when I changed this approach, when I communicated more, when I was vocal about it, when I said what I want when I want it, when I said if I'm feeling sad, bad, low, inferior, so it is extremely, extremely essential to be vocal about, to talk about it, right? Yep, thanks, Diesel. So that's a personal example of how I had to transform my own self and how I suffered for 9 long years for my own fault because I did not set expectations. Because I was in this bubble that I want to be an unconditional person who's only loving and giving and all the time. But you can still be that, but you have to communicate that you at least need love in return or whatever you need, even if there is a communication of, yeah, I'm so grateful that you're doing this for me. Even that is enough, if that is what you need. So that's why it is so important to keep communicating it. Okay, so that's pretty much all I had from a ROI perspective. So we have spoken about how expectations are important and being vocal about expectations is important. So accept it, be aware of it, and communicate it. Very essential. Accept that you have expectations. 2, communicate to people on what are your expectations. So be aware of what you expect from whom. And 3rd, communicate it to them. Extremely important. 2nd is the ROI factor. When I'm saying that I have invested more time in others and less time in myself, then I will always be expecting more from others and less from myself. Because I'm always giving, it will become a void. It will go into not having a very emotionally balanced disposition for myself, right? Now, also, it can actually create extremely high stress for somebody else. For example, I had this with my son, interestingly, okay? So since childhood, I've been a single mother for all my life, almost 18 years now. And there was a period of time when I kept on doing things for my son that I felt I wanted him to have. He never asked for it, okay? I wanted him to have. I sold my jewelry to get him into a good school. I bought toys that were most expensive. I gave him the best of the, the education, best of the house to stay in, best of the luxury, whatever I could afford to whichever level. And I kept on cutting corners for myself, right? Now, there did come a day when my son taught me this. He said, Mama, I never asked this from you. Why are you doing this? I never asked you, I want to go to the school only. It was your choice to put me in that school. So if you have sold your jewelry to get me into that school, it's your problem. It's not my problem. Okay. And that is so essential. It's such a big lesson. It's so important for us to remember that just by unnecessarily giving without evaluating well, without, investing in yourself, thinking about yourself, you are going to create so much stress for others. That's where stress between parents and children actually comes from. where parents are expecting, I have invested all my time, I have invested all my, I let go of my career, I let go of my love life, I let go of my health, I let go of everything only to bring you up. I have done all this for you. Now you have to pay me back. Now you should take care of me in my old age. Or now you should always respect me. You should only listen to what I am saying. So that's where stress between parents and children is coming from. So when you are giving for too long, you begin expecting when you are empty for too long as well. So you are actually ruining relationships by doing that. Okay. So we have understood ROIs, we have understood expectations, and now we also need to understand how does this impact emotional well-being. We did touch certain segments around this, where we spoke about where if you do not take care of yourself, you get into self-pity, inferiority complex, depression, or feeling victim mentality. So all those happen, and these all slowly lead into depression. Okay, so it's always essential to create that balance between the time that you are investing. I hope it is making sense now that how calculating the return of investment on your time, energy, effort, how is that going to help you improve your emotional well-being, right? Because if you invest at the right place, be it yourself, start with yourself, and in the right relationships where you should be investing the time, energy, and effort, then, and you're setting expectations, you're communicating them, and you're getting the returns, you will have a happier yourself. You will have a person who's more at peace with himself or herself, right? So some lessons from all of this study that I did over the last couple of weeks. One, strike a balance between your time and energy for others and for yourself. Be sure you start with yourself, but strike a balance, okay? Communication and self-awareness leads to conducive environment in any relationship. Okay, so beautiful environment in any relationship. So be aware and communicate. Be aware what you need and communicate. Okay, and expectations don't make you selfish. They only make you human. Having expectations is only being human. So please set expectations. It's okay to have expectations. We actually all have some expectations. It's okay to be vocal about it. It's important to be vocal about it. Okay. So in short, improve your return on investment of time. Invest more in yourself so you can have more to give or more to serve. You can never, ever, ever serve from an empty cup. So don't let your cup become dry. Don't let your well of love become dry. Let that incoming be surely there. Let it be consistent always, whether you are getting it from somebody else or whether you're getting from yourself. Figure that out, what works for you, what kind of a person you are, where will you draw that energy from, where will you draw that motivation from, where will you fill yourself up with love, compassion to give more from. Find that and then start giving again. So continue that cycle. Don't break that cycle. That is extremely essential. So we are at 5:45. I had promised it would be around 45 minutes. I will take a couple of minutes to answer any questions that any one of you may have or any comments on what you think about this discussion. Okay. I hope there is not a lag that I'm not able to read your comments. No comments yet. Okay. Diesel, I think the yes is it was beneficial. The discussion was beneficial. Is that what the yes is for? Quite meaningful. Thank you so much, Diesel. Okay. Others, I think I do have Sony here still, and I should have Shilpa there. Okay, it shows I have 6 people viewing it. Very helpful for the younger generation to understand about things. Thank you so much, Deshna. Yes, we should be conscious and we should keep reminding ourselves again and again. It's very essential to learn about self-love and self-care. I have seen a lot of people think that only women need it. They need self-care and, love yourself and all that is only related to women. But if we really start speaking to men and dive further deeper into their lives and their emotions and what they need, you will be amazed the level of stress they have to manage. It's not only women, every human being. Gender has no role to play in all these things, no role to play whatsoever. It's about your environment, it's about what kind of an upbringing have you had, it's about where your energies come from and where they go to. So that cycle, that is extremely, extremely essential. So be aware of that cycle, invest time and energy in yourself, love yourself more. Charity begins at home. Don't forget the golden eggs. You are the hen, right? So you need to feed this hen well. Okay, great. With this note, then I would love to hear your comments later. Well said, Basil. Thank you. He never said follow the Bible. He said follow me. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for your comments, and do share it forward. Do share the link ahead if you think it is worth investing 45 minutes of anyone's time to learn more about the relationship between time, relationships, and your own emotional well-being. So how that link really happens. I hope I have even been able to do justice with this time. And till such time I see you again, take care and take care of yourself. Start with yourself and keep spreading love, keep spreading positivity. The more you have love, the more will you give love. We always give what we have. So if you don't have love, you cannot give love. So start having it first, then begin giving it more. All right, take care then. See you again. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot.